Hello, dear hearts. DaniMarie here. I'm a spiritual soul guide as well as an ascension coach. I give souls the support they need to a more spiritual life as I give healing on all levels of our beings, referring to auras, to our souls and our spirits as well as our mind and bodies. I'm glad to be here with you finally and to be able to connect in this kind of way. How wonderful it is that the time has come where I can make videos for all of you to offer inspiration and help on a spiritual, mental, and physical level. As I said, yes, some of you already know me because they have worked with me and booked sessions with the beings of light or even have come to my home for that. Other souls have booked sessions to receive spiritual and life guidance. Those I do per video call. Some souls are very pleased when I have the angels, archangels, and ascended masters with us for the sessions for a greater energetic support, which is so divine if you ask me. Other souls want truly a complete divine session directly from the Holy Source, which is so understandable to me because their connection to Source is everything. And there we can ask for Holy Mother and Father stem cells, the most divine of all healings. Because some souls truly want to work on themselves and see their soul process as they want to see and feel the change in their spiritual essence, which is so marvelous to see and feel. These kind of souls want to embark on their spiritual and physical journey of love and light in their lives with greater awareness, which is a very intimate and sacred journey, and it helps us so much in so many divine ways, exactly there where our souls and spirit as mind and physical body really needs this kind of help as soon as we decide to start and make the conscious choice and effort to do so. These souls need a lot of understanding to follow their path because no path is easy. We all are filled with karmic matters, challenges in our everyday lives, right? Our path is so incredibly individual and very special for all of us. And how beautiful it is when you find people who are humble and have a deeper understanding about themselves and of all other souls and their most inner being and inner work, which is so essential for ourselves day by day in our lives to actually walk our roads, even with a greater understanding of ourselves and others, to have it and make it all better. It is always an honor for me to be able to accompany you along with all the beings of light involved, who of course offer all their love and support to you and for what you are experiencing in this right moment of time. Yes, for some souls, I offer meditation, and sometimes I also include good homeopathy as well as the wonderful Bach flowers, as I'm also certified in both alternative medicines. These two alternative medicines I offer to give souls the appropriate care and to add additional gentle healing on their path towards even greater healing, which we also often need on such different kind of levels of ourselves. I will always say this. So to tell you a little bit more about myself, I'm half German and half Spanish, but since I also lived in the United States for 5 years and have already traveled a few times to different beautiful countries, I feel like an international universal soul as a multidimensional soul because for the last 22 years I've been living, you could say, on earth, but also in God's higher dimensions, in the spiritual realms, with the divine light beings inside myself. I speak all 3 languages at home, German, Spanish, and English. Or should I say all 4, the spiritual language of the soul mind, and heart, which my wonderful husband Daniel and I also speak all the time since we're together. We've been divinely together for 20 years and happily married for 17 of those. This year it will be for us 21 years of loving and supporting each other as going our spiritual paths and ascension journeys individually as well as together, which is so marvelous. When a couple has the love and the respect they need to move forward on such a soul and spirit level, living together and honoring the path of the heart, feeling always love at home and also anywhere they go together on this earth and universe. I am more than thankful for us and how far we've come together by loving and caring for each other in any way possible. Just as we speak as well our 4 languages with our wonderful son Luka, who is now 12 years old, which we love dearly and are so happy to be his parents, which is also such an honor for us. And Luka as well goes with us every day the path of light and love, which is so sweet to see. How human beings can develop if they cultivate their inner voice of intuition and are allowed to keep their wings from the start by honoring their soul and spirit so much. And also with our lovely son Moses, who is 7 years old now, from the animal kingdom, our Goldie, with who we also speak these 4 languages. And Moses is also such a good son and the most loyal and cutest pal ever. We often say the word that comes first. So it can happen divinely that we have words from all these 3 languages in a sentence wrapped with love, and that often makes it so funny in our house. But of course, I will try to speak only one of my 3 languages here, which for me is not an easy task, so I will give my best. And record the videos separately in 3 languages, which now I did as I filmed this last intro in English as well. And I'm working on my quality of filming as well in them. So I thank you for you being patient with me, and I will be always patient with you. You can find the Spanish and German videos as well in my YouTube channel in case you speak the other languages or are learning them. I will not translate them 100% because each language has its, how would you say, its forms. And I like to feel free and add things, so if you're able to watch the 3 videos, even better for yourself. There might be something new always in the next video, even if it's a 60% translation of the last video that I did. So thank you. Thank you for being considerate with me about that as well. Because I think I speak these 3 languages well enough, but of course, there's still a lot of improvement always, both in vocabulary and grammar. Although I admit I love to write in capital letters the start of a word if the word seems important to me. I like it the way that it's done in German, for example, or the words, and I do it if the word has a higher frequency to it. So often when I write in Spanish and English, I'm somewhat creative with the words. The first letter, like I said, if it vibrates high, the word, like the word love, for me, the first letter needs to be in a capital, in big. But of course, I also understand the teachers and lovers of any kind of grammar. However, with me, I will always look at the energy and the frequency of the word. So as I look at the world and souls, rather by as well energy and frequency, because like this you can see more truth of what and who is in front of you. I had to learn this when I became clairvoyant, and it helped me a lot since then, because it is easier like this to see divine beauty in each soul or even things, as well as you can see where the soul still needs help and has inner work to do on themselves, for themselves, and the world. as I would like to try to explain things to you the best I can in different ways, so that every soul that connects with me here can also follow me when I speak and explain things, especially those things when it comes to higher realms, higher beings, and dimensions. I definitely will try to convey to you everything with all my heart and soul. So I will work with a lot of repetition, like all good teachers do, and explain things in such ways, that almost anyone can remember them well and follow them. Back to my world universe, my family and I live by the beautiful Lake of Constance in the south of Germany, in the triangle of the 3 countries. I greet all wonderful Swiss souls in front of us, and to our left, I greet all the wonderful Austrian souls. I love Switzerland and Austria. I'm always very happy to visit these 2 countries, and I feel at home there as well, just like in Germany. We also live in Spain for a while during the year, in Altea, Alicante, on the wonderful Costa Blanca, and we love it there as much as we love it in Germany. We have our divine Spanish family in the province of Castellón, and also our main job. We, especially my husband, as my brother and sisters, and also my aunt and uncle, and many souls that work with us also, export fruits and vegetables to European countries, especially Scandinavia, which I also love so much. Greeting to all those beautiful souls in Scandinavia from the bottom of my heart. And just that you know, I'm also trying to learn your beautiful languages, Danish, Swedish, and Norwegian, which are so cool and marvelous languages to me, which are as well a great challenge to me. So far, I've been in Denmark, and I love it there. My family, of course, has been in all of your countries every year to visit the competent and friendly souls that work with us. And I hope soon to be able to go visit Sweden and Norway as well. I can't wait. All thanks to my dearest father and his brothers and sister, as I have a special kind of deep, deep gratitude to my wonderful grandfather, who is now in heaven, who gave rise to our family export of fruits and vegetable business, with the teamwork and collaboration with all those great people in Scandinavia. As we also work with some of the great countries touching Germany as well. Hi to Poland and Czechia. I also have not been to your countries yet, but as soon as I'm able, I will do so. I know for sure that I will love your countries as the souls that are incarnated there so much as well too. My father and his brothers, which are my lovely uncles and my charming aunt, have made our business truly flourish and bear fruit in the truest sense. I can tell you that since I was little, I always felt like that I was the princess of the sweet oranges and the cute cherries, and I still feel that way today. The people in Spain, where we live in Altea, Benidorm, close to the sea with those wonderful rays of sunshine, by the Costa Blanca, are simply so kind, open, and very international. And the sky is so blue and clear that our spirits always recharges from all its around beautiful essence. As I said, we also feel at home in Spain, and we really appreciate it being here. So I greet all the souls in Spain, and also from South America. Hello, my hearts, greetings and blessings to all of the souls who speak Spanish or sweetly practice it. We would be truly happy if my videos in Spanish, as English and German reached you as well. Hola de todo corazón, aquí DaniMarie con vosotros. Of course, I will also film many videos in English so that I can reach as many souls as possible internationally, because I value the English language and all the souls who speak English and American English so much as well. I now greet all the souls who speak English, practice it, and are studying it, so we all can understand each other even better, regardless of where we come from here on earth. Hello, dear hearts. Greetings and blessings for all of you. It is an honor, I say it again, to be here. I hope to see you often here. DaniMarie, with you here. Often here. DaniMarie with you here. From now on, I want to make videos, reels for you, where I will focus on the path of the soul and spirit, so to speak. What happens to a soul that listens to its heart and its intuition and then reacts with the courage to follow the path of its heart? Have you thought about this already? It's like this. Every soul that feels itself also takes pride in listening to its heart and intuition, and then follows that inner voice and lives what it hears with what it hears and feels. These souls start living an even happier and healthier life here on earth and truly move forward. This is the universal international path, in my humble opinion, which makes a soul aware of its multidimensionality. And that was the only way for me to move truly forward in this incarnation, by taking my heart, body, and soul and spirit seriously. That's how I experienced it in my life. I will always tell you about my own personal experiences, that myself, by fully following my heart and my intuition, I have made progress with and become even happier and even healthier along my path. Even that I dealt for many, many years in my life with a chronic illness, I found a way to connect and side with me, with Jesus Christ, Buddha, as the Hindu teachings. And so far, I have followed this path day by day. Yes, we all want to become happier inside and outside of us, more abundant, healthier, and especially have a connection to the divine, that we do not feel lost or scared, and instead become more enlightened about the mysteries of the Holy Source, so that in all that we're doing in our everyday life, which often can be so much, right? We actually have a bit of a better plan, which way to go and where to find the real light and the unconditional love in us, and a great deal of compassion for everything and everybody around us. Which does not mean unconditional tolerance to any kind of abuse. We will talk more about what truly is unconditional love and how to live it. We want to be more truthful about who we really are, for starters. We want to have answers to the questions that really matter in life. For example, where do we really come from? What is our most important purpose in life, individually and collectively? I think this is what every soul should want to know in life, in my humble opinion. Otherwise, we often make too many turns. And then we have to get back to our divine roots to reconnect with ourselves again and again, until we truly walk the path that matters to our soul and spirit, so that our inner divine spark can start really breathing its true essence. And that is what we truly are, a divine spark of the whole source of God. And as we come to recognize ourselves again and to live from within, which is so important to our hearts, because it is the authentic path of the soul who takes their ascension seriously and has also a certain kind of respect for it, and has nearly understood so many masters that came here to earth and tried to explain exactly that over and over. I love to humbly try to explain it as well, with the teachings that I got from the higher beings the last 20 years. While you look for the one, you must become the one. What does that mean? I think we as human beings are sometimes naive or even ignorant to how much real dedication is needed for the spiritual path of light, filled with humbleness and discipline, as infinite love, to more surely move forward day by day, hour for hour, minute for minute. In my case, I received a lot of spiritual knowledge from my parents. However, you also bring your own share from your past lives. It depends how much you worked on yourself in every of your incarnations. Your own gathered spiritual knowledge as a divine soul. Because it is so important to know that we truly bring with us every bit of love that we feel and live within us. Each time as much as our own light, if we got to unbury it again through purification. Of course, we will talk about if incarnation is true and why does it happen to us human beings that we accumulate so much karma in each life. Also, for those who do not know yet about incarnation or could not yet find the passages in the Bible or in other places. We will definitely talk a lot about that and make some good points why it is true. Getting back to my upbringing a bit again, my dearest German mother was always willing to show me the path to calmness and more peace, and also try to live that in front of me to set a good example. As I was rather a soul with tons of temperament and also very curious and a quick learner for anything, living by my heart's voice for the longest time, regardless what someone else told me, until I started to have troubles with it, because my heart started to feel things that were not how I wanted them to be. And so my ego appeared into my life, and it took me a long time to get back to my roots in this life, where I gathered all the experiences necessary for my soul to make my own transition back to my heart and soul, and loving myself. Again, listening to my inner voice, aligned with the cosmic beings of light and love. So I will be always thankful to my mom for all her understanding for my spiritual life now. So I also will always be thankful to my mom for all her understanding for my spiritual life now, and for being there for me when I most needed her later on in my life, when for me everything changed from being more or less unawake to becoming more and more awake and following the cultivation of my multidimensional being. My dear Spanish father gave me the gift of prayer and religion, and at the age of 4, I already have memories of when he was on business trips that I will talk only to God, the Creator, Source, during the nighttime, before sleeping, like my dad taught me so lovingly. And then at the age of 7, I began an endless conversation with Jesus, which I had during the day and I also still do today. And I will be always thankful to my dad for helping me remember my connection to Source so early on, because only like that I was able to expand during my life in this incarnation so much. And I also love about my dad that even that he has his religion and beliefs, he supports me, and I can always sense a deep trust coming from him, even if I talk about deeper cosmic metaphysical things and my own experiences. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. I like to tell you what happened to me when I became clairvoyant in my late 27-ish, 28 years old. And I want to talk to you about you now who are watching and listening about these questions. So you know, in case you are also pursuing in this lifetime and want to move even further. Yes, what is clairvoyance? Some souls already have it since birth, and then it gets lost in them, while they grow up and they get to it later again. Or some souls, the clairvoyance stays from the start. Why is that? Have you ever asked yourself such questions? Let's talk about why does this happen to the souls. To others like me, for example, some do it step by step in this lifetime. Later on, like me, when I was 27, 28. Some don't experience this at all. Why not? Or will they get to it later on in this life or the next or even the next? Some desire it and it does not work. Why is that? What do you think? What can you do so this happens to you as well? Because it truly is in your DNA and soul to reach such levels of a deeper sight inside yourself. How is it like to become clairvoyant if you do not know anything about it suddenly? Or if you heard it a little bit here and there, but you don't really know anything? So what are the steps to it? What happens there with you, inside of you? What does it mean when our third eye, the mystical eye, opens up and we begin to lift the curtain, so to speak, to part it and truly perceive the energetic beings of light that we are? When we start seeing aura, our light body with all its layers, how do we feel when we perceive the aura around stones, around plants, around animals, around every person? Yes, around everything. How is that for a soul which came to such pureness in his lifetime? What did such a soul do? Is it easy or difficult? Well, I will tell you how I experienced it. For me personally, it was so divinely magic, and my inner child was jumping down and up out of joy, saying inside of me, I knew it. There is more wonder to all that we can imagine, and God, Christ, are always there listening and walking the whole journey with us. What about angels, archangels, and those that went in front of us to become ascended masters? And most importantly, what about source? How can I explain to you energetically who the holy parents truly are and the holy source? I would like to take you with me as openly and privately as possible when I explain and open up about all these questions that I was allowed to figure out through, yes, good spiritual behavior, as through higher guidance, going steps up in frequency by cleaning up layers of myself during my lifetime until now, and still doing it very humbly, very much so. What happened to me before and after I became clairvoyant? How did I evolve? Of course, there is a beginning to higher consciousness, and when we become more awake and more aware to what truly is there energetically and spiritually speaking, how do we feel? I kept very silent for many years. Of course, at home, I talked with my closest ones, and not all were open to it or interested. So I was even more thankful for those close to me that supported me and believed in me. However, eventually you come to a point where you know God trusts you enough to speak and show the world what my honest self, for example, has to share together with Source and all the ascended masters and archangels. And my silence was very important because these first 20 years, you are still learning so many unimaginable things. And because you have to have great, huge respect for the Holy Source, in my humble opinion, I say it again, respect for the sacred parents, the Holy Mother, the Holy Father, Jesus Christ, and all the other ascended masters and light beings, until you dare to talk and feel that the higher realms and being are also okay with it. because you have been good, pure, enough for exactly that. To speak higher wisdom and truth and not mix it up still with your ego and all your other traumas. So there's a pure state required for exactly that, which I want to bring across, accompanied by the higher beings of light right here with me. You definitely need to be a soul that wants to know its origins and needs higher truth to go on. Because as you know, many things happen to us in our lives where we firstly do not understand, and all of us have so many opinions because of what we lived and think that is true, where I also think that all the opinions from everybody need to be respected. However, it might still be a stretch to the universal truth of the divine source. I also had to realize that because I also thought I know some things, right? So, however, my humbleness needed to be major. Otherwise, I would not have moved forward. Or just by thinking that all my ways are the right ones and not giving the more pure ways a true chance for me to incorporate them into my life, especially soul, as I was moving into a more aware, awake state of myself. That was everything. It definitely feels very good and pure, and like this it becomes right in your heart and whole being. Also, because every time you evolve, you're changing. You're removing, leaving things that you're not anymore, and actually never truly were. But you were so convinced that is me, and that was part of your survival mechanism and of your ego traits. We're so convinced that this is who we are at the moment that we often need the longest time to actually open up for a higher state of beingness and awareness. My goodness, some people get into fights about anything, wanting to prove their point, and honestly, I say it again, they or we might be not be further away of what really divine truth is. So majorly the path is like a total cleansing of the unreal self that the soul, the person, has to do, which many still don't want to do it yet. Because every time it is like saying goodbye to something that you thought that this is me for sure. The illusion of our characters that we all have been identified in all our lives coming from a survival modus or trauma experiences where we would bet on ourselves, even that we haven't opened yet up our real treasure, our true self connected to our higher divine self, where we regain our higher ways of perception and awareness. Yes, we identify for many incarnations with our traumas and ways of coping with them. And we think because of them that we know who we are and how we need to live. But speaking with infinite honesty, I say it again, we're far away of who we truly actually are. Because our connection to the divine is still poor, low, not enough in us, which is a pity because we are divine beings of light and multidimensional beings, which is so grand and sacred to experience and actually be. Then many do not want to do it, nor they can do it now, because it requires a special kind of frequency and vibration inside of your heart and soul as your body. Even that I would say, I am the proof that Source always sees us for who we truly are and where we stand, which means you can always go further. Even if you still have things that need healing, or traumas that need to be cured, or even addictions would need to be left or stopped. God looks at us from the inside and sees our sincere hearts and decides always fairly if we're able to move forward or not yet into higher dimensions and frequencies. However, the angels always help us, even if it's just a drop or an inch to move further, because they are the most loving helpers I have ever seen. And they never get tired and are always there to support us for all our good and dedicated, heartful doings. And when we ask them or have a beautiful relationship with them, they're allowed to even help us more. The same with the archangels and the ascended masters. They're there for us. So there are some souls who truly want to be its light self with their transformed, loving energy, to have everything clean and pure inside themselves and honor 100% the whole universe. These souls have decided to put a great amount of effort when it comes to their ascension path, what is also helping any other soul around them, as the energy of the collective universe, which like this also cleans itself up more, just through the work of each one of us, by being the one who does this kind of, say it again, divine work inside themselves as outside themselves, so to speak. And in my humble opinion, whoever does this truly needs to be congratulated for its divine efforts, because this kind of soul moves through its darkness to recognize its light and true self. These souls truly do their shadow work, it's called, which is so important for every soul actually to do. And I haven't met any soul that doesn't have tons of work yet. Of course, the ones who I've seen that moved further, they cope with it differently. And they also still are working and doing the best they can. Like, there's always things to do and they clean up. If you're done with an earthy level, you can start with a universal level. So there are levels and levels. Let's talk about these levels. So, because if we all would do that, honestly, the earth, the planet, could be even more filled with infinite love and support as compassion, coming from even more souls doing the intense care work that we all need for a better living and honoring themselves as the planet. But of course, it is also very, very respected when a soul wants to take it slower. And here nobody will be judged. And everyone decides where they want to be, who they want to be in this right moment in time. Everybody goes at their own pace, and that's okay. So here's no pressure, no stress. But I will try to remember you of all the beautiful things that are inside of you and who you are. Maybe you already know. Maybe you want to even intensify it. Maybe you just want to start. And maybe you're just here and opening your mind and heart and soul for the first time. And it doesn't matter where you come from, you're all welcome, because this is for everybody. Okay? And that is the law of life and the law of the heavens, to be humble and always be understanding for the work that each soul needs to do when it decides to do so, okay? And like I say, that's more than okay. I've been living with the spiritual world and its beings of light for 21 years now. I was taught by them every day, and it was and it is the most truthful path, the path of awakening, the path of initiations, of challenges and trials in our everyday lives that we get. Listen, tailor-made for each one of us, for our soul and for our ascension. So it is the same with you. You also have daily challenges and trials. You have karma, your cross. You could call it backpack, which is what you bring with you in each lifetime when you incarnate on earth. Again, you bring the light that you accumulated inside of you. Better said, that you, like I said it before, unburied it inside of yourself and are willing to live it again as you bring the love and as well your karma back in each lifetime. To be in the school of life. You heard about that school, right? And then there's normal school, where your parents got you to go where you were growing up. Now there's also homeschooling, and online schooling from home also became more divinely seen again, which is wonderful. And then there is also the soul divine school, the spiritual school, which is the school of the higher realms. Angel kindergarten, preschool, you would say it in English, going up until divine cosmic Christ consciousness university, and even higher. Your divine inner spark, which is what you are, is what comes back in every lifetime inside yourself, inside the body you choose. Everything what you have achieved, transformed internally, meaning new amounts of light and love, as well as remembrance, and your different amounts of karma, life and heavenly lessons that you have not passed yet, you bring with you. Yeah? So you have here on earth the possibility each time to grow up more internally and becoming more your true self, your divine self. Yeah, from a divine spark to a divine flame. Your divine self, which is all thanks to Source and its divine plan for every child who actually wants to become a universal child. Again, because this child spark, which transformed into a flame inside themselves, has the necessary compassion for all other souls and itself as the earth and the universe. This is the path of Christ, of the Ascended Masters, and for me, very, very honorable to follow inside myself, inside yourself. So yes, I would like to talk a lot with you about our inner spark, soul, because I believe that this will help and inspire many of us, because that is what we seek in reality, why we come here, why we do so many turns, and also going to streets where souls become stuck in their ego behavior and do not know where to seek the real healing and true happiness, which only comes from really going the path of enlightenment. We all truly want healing and more happiness and abundance. I will always say it, for sure. However, it can only be attained if you truly go the path that your soul is actually whispering to you constantly by telling you to follow your heart's voice, by telling you to be courageous in the name of love. So how do we get there? Is there a plan somewhere? A schedule that we can follow? Have you asked yourself this question in this lifetime yet? Or are you content with what you got and want to keep going with what you have been told and to what you have to conform by living that, but not listening enough to your heart? So if we really want to advance and we want to know more about who we are and feel the treasure within us as to get closer to our most authentic and sacred selves, that's where we go. We seek with our soul the light, our light, the inner sacred light. We seek the love that we got inside of ourselves, and we expand that all around the earth, First around every child, and then later even in a universal kind of way. To have infinite love inside of us and outside of us. And if a soul gets to do that, to always expand more of their love, this soul will have each time a clearer path for a new incarnation. This does not mean that it is all easy and flowers, because most of the advanced souls, humble souls, also get their heavy experiences. However, they cope with them differently. And eventually, they are and get aligned with the divine, where they can help and explain how to move further in a different kind of way, because they feel and see. Source is there as the lightful beings, always helping and inspiring them, us, to go the rightful, truthful path, to expand the love and light even more around themselves and all of us. Truthfully, we want to have back our own connection to our inner spark, to ourselves and the divine inside, above of us, the sacred realms. Otherwise, there is always in us that feeling of lostness, or we do not feel completely right inside of us. And the person wonders and wonders about things. Why sometimes some things feel off inside themselves. Even the ones that have a lot of materialistic things have those days. Many of those days where they do not feel completely and truly divinely blissful and miss the connection to the divine or life or to themselves if they do not have it. In my case, I continue to rise in humbleness on this path, and the more you learn, the more humble and responsible you are. More you find inside of yourself what you have to bring to Source and what Source brings to you, to yourself and to the collective, where we all are included, by the cultivation of your soul and spirit as body, always listening to your heart and intuition and actually truly following it. Why doesn't ascension work for so many of us? I think many do not have that clear. I, for example, had to realize that through my own healing and the transformation of my karma, as I dissolved the lower frequencies in me and gave myself the opportunity to heal even more. And if I talk about healing, I mean the whole soul with all its layers, not just the body or the physical person. Of course, at the same time, I myself, like everybody else, still have my cross to bear in some things, but it got so much smaller by walking the path of truth and pureness, and I got to truly cope in a different kind of way with all my cross and karma matters. We all have our hard places inside of us, or exactly that place where it tells us, now you have to live even a more peacefully life and include more healing into your life. The body tells us. I'm sure you all have that place where it tells you this. Now we truly have to take care of ourselves a little bit more to actually feel that we are advancing in ourselves and honoring ourselves as well. Truly, I have to tell you that I think that when a soul goes this path, a soul starts to feel the most kind of gratitude. Yes, the gratitude we feel while we advance in us by following our hearts. That is one of the highest frequencies that we can desire in us. Because you can only walk the path in your most authentic way, and that is only possible while you also keep healing yourself. Well, we were talking about how we heal by transforming our karma, and there are many levels to heal. I mean, the body is what you see, but there are more levels of energy in our aura. So there's a lot to heal in us. And I have truly seen very advanced souls, I say it again, and they also still had things to heal, even if they were going with all what they got, this kind of divine path already. And we also need to take into consideration that the more we love each other, the better, and the more healing we also will carry inside of us. However, the love I'm talking about is divine love, and not the love a human being thinks about or feels on a normal day. If we make it to vibrate and live with a higher divine of love and consciousness, then Source, the universe, the creator of all, which is so infinite, can give us the support that we need. And like this, we begin to walk the path, to live it more consciously, more awake, and more disciplined each day in our lives, which gives us the right amount of comfort, because our ego is vanishing, transforming, or its energy is used more and more for the greater good. And this gives us enough amount of peace to keep going, even if our daily trials are still hard and uncomfortable to bear with, live with, deal with, because we're moving into the right direction, which will always be divine pureness. And yes, for me, it is also the most important decision for every soul to truly progress and live and achieve inner divine happiness and consciousness, because it is, I say it again, the cultivation of what and who you truly are. With God, Source, for God, Source, in God, Source, because you are in Source and Source is in you. And that is where we truly are and belong as divine sparks and as divine flames. God, Source, is everything, which is the word we humans use to explain that infinite divine being, our divine infinite being. So enlightenment, ascension, can only be achieved with that, our being, and realizing, focusing on that we're not separate from this being, because human beings like to separate everything, and nothing is separate in reality, looking at it from an energetic kind of standpoint. And we'll talk about that enough too. So here we go. The path of love, of the heart, of light, of understanding, as higher compassion, as well as the path of unity, togetherness, and with always divine humbleness, is for each soul the ultimate decision for a higher, pure way of living and being on this beautiful Mother Earth. Thank you for being here, for wanting to advance and becoming more lightful and loving and getting to your healing on your all multidimensional layers by connecting with Divine Source. Please feel energetically embraced by me and the beings of light who accompany me here. And until the next video, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Yours truly, DaniMarie.